What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka Descendant of Chaos and Controversy, and today I am here with a topic of discussion that I believe a lot of you guys are familiar with. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with race relations or any of those particular subjects. But this topic of discussion mainly has to deal with what we come to know as karma and how it affects people in either a good way or in a bad way. But in reference to that topic of discussion, I am mainly focusing on myself and how I'm pretty sure other people who have found themselves as either the subject of karma or the on the end of dishing karma out. Um, but I know that in this life, people need structure. People follow particular guidelines. They have a belief system, whether it's a code of ethics or whether it's something that has to deal with their faith. I've said it before many times over. I'm not a religious person. I'm not for following cults and stuff like that. But do I believe in a higher power? Absolutely. Do I believe that higher power has affected me in one way or another? Yes, it has. There are things in people's lives that they've experienced that they themselves have not been able to explain due to certain or particular circumstances or instances that have affected them. And some, they might have felt like there was no way to get out of a situation, and the unexplainable happened. You know, um, but I know when I talk about karma in regards to me, I talk about how people have treated me in a way where it wasn't necessary. But in understanding human behaviors and how people operate and how they act and how they think, it's no surprise when their actions or their behaviors or their treatment towards you is done in a way or it comes from a place of resentment. You know, um, a lot of time people spend or waste time judging others. And ironically and hypocritically, it's always the people who, how should I put this, feel that they're obligated to do so, pointing the finger at somebody else to make themselves look good. And it's always those people who are either as bad as you or worse than you are. And I found I give an example with my kids' moms. Every woman that I've had a child with that I found myself involved with, they've had a vindictive way about them. And the end result never fell in their favor. I say with my daughter's mom, I mean, she had a bad attitude. She was always out for herself. She was not trustworthy. She was promiscuous. Um, and out of that, yes, a child between us was born, and but as most fathers would love to, how should I say, tell their truths when it comes to their children and their children's mother, the children coming from the mom's end has always been utilized as a weapon. Always that bargaining chip. You know what I'm saying? And it ends up being a toxic setting that does neither party any favors. It doesn't. But one thing that I've been taught is that no matter what people put you through, no matter what people put you through, that never seek revenge, never seek to have ill will towards the other person. Wish them the best. Don't share that same negative energy, because the energy that people put out comes back to them in return. I try to stay positive. I try to stay positive even dealing with some of the circumstances that I find myself dealing with, and having to somehow keep my mind focused and not go into that dark place where I have ill intent. I want to be vindictive. You know, um, I've learned a long time ago to not be judgmental. Because at one point in my life, I was very judgmental. I thought that my shit didn't stink. I thought that I was above people. I was on a pedestal. I was on that high horse. But eventually, when it comes to certain circumstances or events that happen in people's lives, things that they have to experience, and I believe that it is no coincidence that people go through some of the things that they go through, that journey, that life lesson, it has to be done in order for them to learn. And what I've learned is to be humble, because I've been knocked off of my high horse. I've been knocked off that pedestal and onto my ass. So where I took a lot of things for granted, I learned to be a little more appreciative. Am I without flaws even at this particular moment in time? Hell no, I'm not without flaws. I struggle day to day. I deal with my demons just like anyone else. I am no better than the next person. But being that I know that I'm no better than the next person, and having that understanding and that realization and acknowledging that is what makes me have an understanding of the position that I see other people in. And maybe due to some of the things that I've experienced in my life, maybe I can offer some advice or maybe some solutions, because, it's not that I'm too proud to where I can admit that, hey, I'm wrong in certain scenarios, or I may need help, or I may need someone to guide me out of a darkness that I found myself in. But sometimes people's pride won't allow them to do that. No, instead, it's all about them and their self-righteousness. Because they feel as if though they can have their foot on your neck while they stand above you, looking down on you, pointing the finger at you, judging you, and having other people chime in based on the story or the kind of narrative that they push out to put you in a particular light. I mean, I'm sure many people who are watching this right now understand what I'm talking about, can relate to exactly what I'm talking about. And trying not to be negative, trying to see the positive thing in things, trying to keep your head up when people are doing their damnness to come at you, to where the burden of such stress and unnecessary things make you just want to put your head down and be like, fuck all of this shit. But that's where people want you to be. They want you to be in that place where you are depressed. People want you to be in that place where you don't feel that your self-worth is of value. Because 9 times out of 10, what other people project onto you is that negative shit that they feel about themselves. So, you know how they say misery loves company? If they can't be happy in their own self right, then they rather you be just as miserable as they are. And they'll be toxic. They'll find ways to attack you. They'll find ways to make you feel some kind of way about yourself because they're feeling some kind of way about themselves. And it's crazy. It's crazy because it's like when I tell people that feel that they're not worthy of existence, and I say, hey, you know what? I've been there. I know what you're going through. I've suffered through depression. I've conquered suicide on a couple of attempts. I know what it's like to be sitting in that dark place. I know what it's like to battle addictions and stuff like that. It is not easy. It is not easy. Not at all. But the reality of it all is that it exists and it affects people. Um, but the one thing that I've learned is that you have to acknowledge it. You can't be in denial of the things that affect you or the part that you play in enabling these things to affect you. You know, and the one thing that I've been taught is that they tell you when you deal with certain things that that keep you stagnant in life, where it seems like you can't move forward, that you're stuck in the same position and you can't make an advancement to progress because you're still stuck entertaining those devices. I tell people this all the time. It doesn't matter. Say your position in life is like the chess piece on the board, and you're either the pawn, the king, the queen, or whatever. You know, it don't matter what position you play in life. When you make moves, whether it's to advance or not be a success or fail, where you are is where you are. The only thing that I could say that allows people to progress is when, regardless if you change the company that you keep, the environment that you're in, the location that you live in, all of that can change, and that's fine and dandy. Those are some steps that may have to take place, but in order for anything to change, regardless of all the exterior stuff that may be a distraction, it doesn't help if what's inside don't change. I I stated to a few people that I follow why I haven't been active, why I haven't been satisfied with a lot of the videos that I've posted, and a lot of people might see like a lot of changes where I might post a video, then the videos drop, then another video pops up, then it drops. It's because I want to give a message to people where they understand where I'm coming from. They know I'm human just like they are. I am no better than anybody else. And in most cases, I can relate to a lot of things that people are going through, are dealing with, what's affecting them, what's not affecting them, what's affecting others in their life based on maybe their presence. I'm familiar with a lot of things. One of which is, like I said before, is people passing judgment and karma. Karma is something that I don't play with. I take it very serious. I believe in it. I know that, like I said before, the energy that you put out is the same energy you will get in return. So I practice being humble. I practice trying to uplift others, even if I don't feel up to part in being, how should I say, the positive role model or the positive outlet or that uplifting spirit. But I'm also human. I have my moments where I'm not all about being positive. I have my days where I'm just like, fuck the world, fuck this, fuck that. I don't care. I don't give a damn. But when I'm in those modes, when I'm in that mood, that's when I keep to myself. Because I don't want my negative energy to be affecting other people. I don't want my actions or my attitude or whatever to bring other people down. So that's why I say, you know what? If I seem to come off like I'm antisocial, it's not that I don't care or like people or anything of that nature. It's just that I don't want to be that toxic person that unloads my bullshit onto other people. So I distance myself. And it's not hard for me to do because I'm a reserved person. I don't really attach myself to people. I really don't. Um, but when it comes to my kids, I think a lot of the relationships that I pick and chose weren't healthy, and that has affected my kids in one way or another. And I have to take responsibility and accountability for that. Um, I know not to pass judgment on other people because I know what it's like to be judged. I know what it's like when you're made out to be the scapegoat, when you got people looking down at you, wanting you to fail. Um, when they have a reserved perception of you. When they pass that perception on to other people. So it's not just them looking at you in a particular way. They got other people looking at you in a particular way. Because they need that approval from other people to look down on you. And that to me, that's just petty. It's just entertaining nonsense and stupidity and a lack of maturity. But I know that even though I deal with a lot of things that sometimes put me in a position to just want to just I gotta humble myself because I know if I wish bad upon others that bad shit will happen to me. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm not aware. Like I could notice or uh, be subjected to treatment by somebody else towards me, and I'm almost like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna sit back. And when people see that change in my behavior, where I'm mostly confrontational, where I'm mostly resistant, and I do that switch. When I do that, that means, you know what? I'm not even gonna fight you no more. It's out of my hands. Because when I'm done fighting, when I'm done being resistant, when I'm done entertaining people being confrontational with me, because I don't want to entertain negative energy, and people are still how should I say, empowering that negative energy to try to put forth onto me, things come full circle. But that's all that I got for this morning. I don't mean to come off preachy, uh, but there's something that I wanted to share, something that I wanted to get off my chest in order for me to move forward, because I was in a particular place momentarily. I try not to stay there long. I try to just deal with things as they come in the best way possible and handle it and progress. But that's all I got for this morning. Until next time, until next video, you already know what the deal is. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.